friends, relatives, strangers, and enemies, viewers from the Middle East, you've clicked over to the Texas Conservative channel, where the topics here on this channel range from the Second Amendment to taxes, national security, national missile defense, and health care. And that being the case, I'm going to talk about national security matters. And the majority of this episode will be dedicated to it. A word is going out to all the people of the Middle East and the people of Iran. If there are any Iranians whom have access to internet and have the ability to get the information that you're hearing to your fellow citizens, do you see what's happening in Egypt? Do you see what freedom can do? Now, I know the situation is quite different in Iran. I know the military is much harsher, and I know that there's more of an iron rule that is going on in Iran. But that doesn't mean there cannot be change. Rise up. Have the balls. Some of you in Iran might even need to be willing to die in order for this change to take place, but the world would be better for it, and so would your nation. And you would bid well for your children's future in doing such. Now, here on the Texas Conservative channel, I know that a large number of people in my country, here in the United States, view Iran as a threat because of its radical fundamentalism. That doesn't mean we don't want to see democracy in Iran. And of course, we should take any opportunity to take advantage of anything that might come up in Iran that might resemble what just took place in Egypt. So, those of you who are in Iran who want to see an occurrence like what happened in Egypt, be willing to do some radical change yourself. Tell your friends and family about the Texas Conservative channel. Because the way I see it here is that in Iran, there's the prophet, and there's the imams, and there's the ayatollahs, which in that order seem to rule Iran with an iron hand. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. Everybody below those three categories in Iran, they don't have to be martyrs, because that's the way I see it here. The martyrs. The martyrs in Iran are the ones that always have to make the sacrifice. They're the ones that have to do the suicide bombings. They're the ones that have to be the crazies. They're the ones that have to bear the burden of making their nation look insane. It doesn't have to be that way. All you have to do is have courage in Iran and keep in mind what's taking place in Egypt, and know that if you make the right decisions, America will come to your aid. But not until then. Not until radical change takes place in Iran. And all you got to do is rise up. Rise up right now. Say to hell with it. Run out. Tear your robes off. Put on some jeans. Throw away the sandals and put on some faded glory leathers. Go out into the street and say to hell with the supreme leader of Iran. Don't just do it in the 2s and 3s. Do it by the millions. Go out into the streets of Tehran and demand change right now. Demand freedom from the people that rule Iran. That's all you have to do. That's all the people of Iran have to do is take heart and have courage by what their friends in Egypt are doing. Don't be the martyrs. Don't be the ones who have to be ruled. Jail the ayatollahs. And if you have to, kill the imams and then disregard your prophets, because they're tearing your country apart. America wants to help. And here on the Texas Conservative channel, I'm trying to reach out to the people of Iran. Those few people whom do have access to the internet, make use of it. Make use of it and try to make change within your country, because there's a chance. There's two directions in which Iran could go. One is the direction of freedom and change, with the end of the imams and the ayatollahs and the ruling clerics, and the other is destruction for Iran, pursuing nuclear weapons, hardline radical Islamic extremist rule, which will probably, by my estimations, cause the United States and Israel to destroy Iran one day. So anything else in the middle is kind of pissing in the wind. I'll have to point it out here as such. So stand up. Rise up against these hardline rulers in Iran. You know, say to hell with them. What's wrong with eating a bacon sandwich in Iran? You know, what's wrong with it? Why does one have to be jailed in Iran for that? Why must one wear a beard? You know, why must one march to Mecca or be forced to go? You know, all of these radical extremists in Iran seem to be a growing majority within Iran. And it's, you know, us in America would like to think that it's just a few people in Iran. But when you add in the followers, when you add in the people who are willing to be martyrs, when you add in the people in Iran who are willing to go along with that shit, it's a force to be reckoned with. And here on the Texas Conservative channel, I've got to point it out. I'm not going to leave no stone unturned. I'm not going to leave any Islamic bullshit unchallenged, because here on the Texas Conservative channel, I'm looking out for the United States of America. I don't particularly too much like the nation of Iran as it is right now. I do consider them an arch enemy. But having said all that, I would like to see the people free. You know, and it's a change, of course, that the leaders are not going to make. Again, people, jail the ayatollahs. You know, execute the imams and disregard your prophets. And Iran will be well on its way to seeing a new, bright day. Now, of course, you know, a lot of people are not going to understand the English that I'm talking. So I'm going to put the text of this video, the text lines are going to be in Farsi, so as to make the message a little bit more, you know, more easily understood. You know, I mean business here on the Texas Conservative channel. I'm out to bring forth truth. There's a certain American fundamental philosophy that I like to present. Of course, at its core is capitalism and freedom from religion, freedom from idiocy, freedom from liberal elitism, freedom from jihadism. Freedom, people, freedom, and it's the type of freedom where somebody like me bucks all form of socialism, any kind, from any corner of the globe where the stink arises. Scrutiny will come from here about it, in hard fashion, and a lot of times in rated R fashion. So spread this word forth. My viewers in the Middle East, you have a chance to change. You have a chance to bring forth democracy. You know, here in America, I don't have to go to church. I go when I want to. I choose what job I want to. No imam or no prophet or no ayatollah tells me what to do. If I was a citizen of Iran, the ayatollahs and the imams would have to watch out, because I would be out for their heads. I'm in America, where we don't let such happen. We don't let such things happen. Right now, we still have control with the ballot box. The Second Amendment is still very much in place, which is something the citizens of Iran need. They need a free constitution. They need a revolution against Islamic control. You know, to hell with the ayatollahs, to hell with the imams, and to hell with the prophets. Radical Islam is something that needs to die off. It needs to go away. And it's not something that's going to be, with the ferocity that radical Islam has, it's not something that's going to be just tore down immediately. We're going to have to tear it down at the edges. We're going to have to attack it in different ways. Through financing, through computer worms, through carpet bombing. Any way that those of us here in the free world can help stop radical Islam, we're going to try. And of course, here on the Texas Conservative Channel, I'm trying to spread this message. I'm trying to spread this Texas Conservative message, and I want to emphasize the opportunity that the people of Iran have. You know, again, there's not several different paths, citizens of Iran. It's democracy. It's a path that resembles what's taking place in Egypt. It's a better life for the people, you know, a happier life, more freedom to choose to do what you want to without being ruled by a cleric or a prophet or a religion. And that would mean better relations with Israel and better relations with the United States. The other path is letting the imams and the ayatollahs continue to force you into martyrdom and let them rule your country as they try to gain access to nuclear weapons, as they persistently pursue them, as they steam ever further toward their desired Middle East nuclear war with the United States. That it's likely going to take place. The nuclear war between Iran and the United States is going to take place one day unless something changes inside Iran. The time is not later. The time is not a month from now. The time is not weeks from now. Folks, the time is now. You need to act. Act upon this chance before it slips out of your fingers. And people of the Middle East, friends, relatives, strangers, and enemies, and other viewers, just watch the next episode. Thank you.